So, since we need some cure time for this two-part epoxy, and I'm going to go ahead and pre-glue the spacer onto the lamp so that during the cure time we can do some other soldering. For this, I prefer this two-part epoxy from Conrad, and I already have a little piece here cut out. We aren't going to need very much to do the prefixing, and what we're going to have to do is mix this two-part epoxy putty together to activate it hardening, and then we'll position our 12 millimeter plastic tube by one of the lights here. And this is where it takes a little bit of skill. You have to make sure everything stays aligned and is in the right place. We're going to prefix it because doing the main amount of putty work, it's just too difficult if the thing slides around. So what we want to do is, it also helps to take a file and pre-notch right in the middle a V, because that's where we want to set on one of the ribs, and it's easier if there's an orientation point. So I've notched a V in here, and what I'm going to do is line it up with the middle rib here. So it's much easier if it's got a little V on it. So what I'm going to do is take the putty, it's all mixed up, and I'm going to put it about here. And then I'm going to take my V and I'm going to guide it down onto the center rib. What I'm going to do is just, so what you want to do is make sure it's centered this way, and also that it's not cocked like that. Looks pretty good. Before it sets up, make all your final adjustments. What you don't want is the putty overlapping into this area, because you're going to have your 5 millimeters spacers on the side when you assemble it. So this is, like I said, only prefixing it, so that when you do the final, put the final shell over it, then this thing doesn't move around. It holds your position. It's not going to be cocked on the headlight and look weird. So just want to make sure that everything is in the right position, parallel to the lamp, and don't touch it anymore, and just set it off to the side to let it. So we can work on our battery box while our lamp is curing. You can remove the screw. You can keep it or use it. I don't usually keep it anymore. And then I take my pieces of polyurethane foam. I can peel off the self-sticking back here, and position it, and then tape it on there. And I can take the second piece, do the same thing here. What you want to do is just put it on the ends. Could have been better. And then what you want is a little piece of polyurethane here to help clamp down on the batteries, so that the batteries, there's a little bit of friction on the batteries and holds the cover on more stable. So you put that on there in the middle, that compresses against the middle battery. So now we can take our leads. We leave a little bit of room here, and you can cut them about there. So leave that much on. And then what you want to do is you can remove this inside piece here. And you want to coat all these metal pieces with oil to prevent corrosion. And then with your screwdriver you can pull these through. And then you want to strip the ends here. Prepare it for soldering. Now, there's one stripped. Two stripped. And then we have our 19-inch cable here. And what you're going to have to do is make sure you're positive and negative. There's little ribs on here. We're going to use this as the positive cable. So we can, what I'm going to have to do is make this hole a little bigger in the end. And you can just do that with a hand drill. And then you can stick your wire through. Turn it so that the positive side is close to the red one here. You can split the wire and then strip it. And then you can just wrap the positive to the positive and the negative to the negative. And then we'll solder it and heat shrink it. So we can solder it, got the soldering iron here. Soldered. So there's excess you don't need, you can trim it off. And we can take our pieces of heat shrink tube. Put the heat shrink tubing on. So now what we want to do is stress relief the cable because there's nothing holding it right here. So we'll take a cable tie and work it under. And then we're going to let the cable tie stress relieve this cable. We pull the cable tie down, start to pull excess wire out, and then really pull on the cable tie here. And then you can cut it off, and then you can fold the connections into this little area above the batteries. So you can put your contact plate back in the slots, just stick it in there, and then you can put these connections down here in the bottom, and you got your battery plate all made. Now what you want to do is take your 3 cable holders and feed them onto the line, because once we solder to the lamp, then you aren't going to be able to put these on. Leave those as it is. There's your cover.